Okay, this is part 2. In part 2, we are going to put the bibliographic description into MARC format. We're going to leave room for the access points, but we won't do those yet. We'll save those for video 3. So when entering the description, these are the MARC fields we're going to use. MARC 020 for the ISBN, MARC 245 for the title and statement of responsibility, MARC 250 for the edition statement, 260 for the publication statement, 264 for the copyright date, 300 for the physical description, 337 for the media type, and 338 for the carrier type. We're going to be using the MARC 21 format for bibliographic data from the Library of Congress, which you can see here, and there's the URL at the top of the page. And we're going to start by entering this data, this ISBD description, and these two extra data elements of media type and carrier type into a MARC format. So what you see here in the middle is the excerpt from the MARC bibliographic standard from the Library of Congress, and each MARC field in MARC has a page like this, which describes what the field is for and what are the allowable values for each part of the field. So you'll see 020 is the International Standard Book Number. Notice that there's an R after it, which means that it is repeatable. So you can have more than one ISBN. The first indicator, as you'll see, you have I1 and I2. Those are indicator values. The first indicator is undefined, and so is the second, which means that we leave the indicator fields blank. So we have 020, nothing for the first indicator, nothing for the second indicator. We have a list of subfield codes, and the International Standard Book Number goes into subfield A. Notice that there is no acronym in front of it. There is no ISBN. It is simply the number with all of the digits collapsed together with no spaces and no hyphens. There are also other subfield codes that you can use for such as qualifying information and terms of availability and things like that. If you want to use those, if you scroll down in this MARC page, you will find the definition and scope. You will also find instructions on how to use each of these subfields together with examples. And the examples are very, very useful because you can see how these things actually work in practice. The title statement goes in the 245 field, and the 245 field has values settled for the first indicator and the second indicator. The first indicator is to indicate whether or not you want an added entry for the title. We decided in video 1 that yes, we want to be able to look up the title of Shakespeare on Stage. We therefore set the first indicator to 1 to indicate please generate a title added entry on this. The second indicator is to indicate how many non-filing characters lie before the letter that you want this to file under in an alphabetical index. So if this was the Shakespeare on Stage, you would set the second indicator to 4 to indicate that it leaves out THE space and just goes to Shakespeare. Since we want it to be filed under Shakespeare, then we have no non-filing characters here. The subfield A is for the title proper, and so it goes into subfield A. The rest of the title goes into subfield B, so 13 actors on 13 key roles, and then the slash. And then subfield C is the statement of responsibility. Notice that none of these fields is repeatable, which means you can only use them once. So once you've used up subfield A, subfield B, and subfield C, you'll notice that we can't add another subfield C for the statement about Trevor Nunn. They all go into one. Notice also that there's a period at the end. At the bottom of each field description in MARC 21, you will find something called input conventions, which gives instructions on the appropriate punctuation to end a particular field. So this is the most important field in a bibliographic record, and you can see here it is, Shakespeare on stage. The addition statement goes into the 250 field. It again has indicators that are undefined and are therefore left blank. You simply take the addition statement and put it into a subfield A field, as you see here. Publication statement goes in field 260. Subfield A is for the place of publication. Subfield B is for the name of the publisher. Subfield C is for the date of publication. Notice in the subfield codes that all of these are repeatable. So you can have more than one subfield A and more than one subfield C if you have more than one place or more than one date. Not everybody uses multiple subfield codes. Sometimes if it's more than one place of publication, they just put it all into a single subfield A field rather than have subfield A London, subfield B subfield A Toronto, subfield A Chicago, etc. They would just have London, Chicago, etc. It's up to the individual library whether or not it wants to have separate places coded or not. So here we have subfield A London, subfield B Nick Hearn Books, subfield C 2010. Copyright date can either go in the 260 field after the publication date, or as we have here, it goes into a 264 field. Leave the first indicator blank, set the second indicator to 4 to indicate that this is a copyright notice date. Subfield C is the copyright subfield. Just put subfield C and then the copyright 2010. The physical description goes into a 300 field. Again, the indicators are undefined. Subfield A is for the extent. Subfield C is for the dimensions. In addition, 337 is for the media type. Just put in subfield A and unmediated. 338 is the carrier type, subfield A volume. Now you can get more complicated if you want. There are cool little subfields with codes that you could use, but I'm not asking you to do it for this particular assignment. And so here we have our beginning of our MARC field. We have 020 field with our ISBN. We've left space for the access point for Julian Curry. And then we have the 245 field, the 250 field, 260, 264, 300, 337, and 338. And then at the end, we will have another access point for Trevor Nunn. So it's almost done. We just have to put in the access points for Julian Curry and for Trevor Nunn, and those we will do in video 3.